Berlin, a vibrant capital on the move. With its impressive infrastructure and a mix of cultures and contrast, it has fast become one of the most sought-after destinations. But this has not always been the case. Just after World War II ended, it was divided into 4 occupied zones. On the east, the Soviet Union. A wall separating East and West Berlin was built on August 13, 1961. It tore families apart. Frank Ebert was 19 years at the time and part of the Socialist Unity Party's youth wing. He witnessed the fall of the Berlin Wall in 1989, shortly after the International Press Conference which changed history.
And then came the press conference of Gunter Schabowski, the former party secretary of SED in Berlin. The press conference was really confusing because it was not really definite and you didn't know what he meant. We thought that if we get it clear, then it will mean that the wall was opened.
Today, Frank relives the peaceful revolution through valuable material collected over many years under the communist rule. Together with a team of other activists, he worked underground at the Environment Library in the occupied East, printing and distributing material which exposed the iron fist tactics of the system. Over 5,000 videotapes lined the walls of the archive library. Visuals collected from journalists who risked their lives.
We also have footage we recorded illegally, means that documented the breakup of cities and our own activities in GDR for particular programs broadcasted in the West. We smuggled these cassettes to the West, from where they broadcasted it back to the East.
The archive library also contains cabinets filled with documents and pictures. Memories are laid out in thousands of photographs. They depict the youth opposition's pivotal role during the communist era.
Here we have pictures of the Gethsemane Church in October 1989. There we organized demonstrations starting in Berlin. Here you can see the preparations for the demonstrations and we produced posters calling for the freedom of political prisoners. We hung them outside the church, but we had to remove them because of the pressure on the church from the Interior Ministry.
The wall is now a bleak memory of a divided Berlin, and parts of it still remain to ensure that the younger generation learns about the history. In the 28 years of its existence, over 130 people were killed trying to cross the Berlin Wall. At least 800 more people were killed outside Berlin, trying to cross from East to West Germany. Looking into the death strip especially is bound to stir up the past. Today, that is all just a faint memory.
The regime in East Germany was only able to keep up in power because of the construction of the Berlin Wall and inner German border. If that didn't happen, the people would have fled to the West in large numbers in the 50s, and the regime would not have kept up. You could see clearly that after the wall came down and the inner Germany border opened, the one-party system came down, and the whole dictatorship collapsed like a deck of cards.
Ja, die ganze Diktatur eigentlich in sich wie ein Kartenhaus zusammenfiel.
Many stark reminders of the past era are still scattered around Berlin, like this wall of remembrance, showing pictures of identified people who died trying to flee the East. Checkpoint Charlie has been the best-known military crossing point for people who traveled from the Western-occupied sectors of Germany and Berlin to the Soviet-occupied sectors during the Cold War. Although it represents bitter memories today, Checkpoint Charlie is a colorful hive of activity, with thousands of tourists spending time and money on a daily basis.
It brings bad memories in the collective memory of the Germans, but not for me, because we are not able to cross here. Today it's tourist magnet, as you can see. It raises the questions whether this here truly portrays what happened here way back.
What happened during the Berlin Wall period is a piece of history that millions of people hope will never ever be repeated again. And people like Frank will ensure that its memory remains alive.